Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back, and let me share my screen. Yesterday we learned how to log into a BTP trial account, how to set up a ABAP environment in BTP, and how to create a class in the ABAP environment. Till here we also arrived, and we knew that in Eclipse we need to click on this green icon, click on run as, and in the application ABAP application console we can see the output of a class. But can we see the output of each and every class that we create in Eclipse? No. There is a particular interface which is kind of a test interface which contains a main method, and there is a specific object and a specific method for writing anything into the console, so that for the test purpose, if you want to see what is the output of the class, what is the output of a particular logic that we are building, we can see that in the console. We can clear it out here, and we can execute as much as time we want to. So that was about the class. And the thing is, when we created a class yesterday, we see something here called properties. For me it is appearing at the bottom. If you cannot see here, you can go to Windows, show view, and there are a lot of views which are part of ADT under ABAP, that you can see all this list, out of which we are opted for the properties part, that you can see here. Just give me a moment. Thank you, Sai. So in this class properties, if I scroll down a little bit, we can see there is something called ABAP language version, and you can see in my screen it says ABAP for cloud development. If I double click on my package now, I see in my package also there is something called default ABAP language version, which is again ABAP for cloud development. So what is this thing? In BTP, ABAP language versions only have one option, that is ABAP for cloud development, and there is one more option which will not appear for the development objects such as class or database table, but it will appear only for some objects which are available for a different purpose that we will discuss in a bit. So what is ABAP language version? I'll share this blog with you in a bit. An ABAP language version is a subset of full ABAP language. It's the basic definition, but what it does, it allows us to restrict the syntax. It allows us to restrict the user to not write down some statement which might break the system. It is used to minimize the risk of damages to the system or data, and it is also used to decouple our custom code from the SAP core. Why? Because that is the entire purpose of the new development, the cloud development model, that whatever development you do, whatever custom development you do, it should not break the standard functionality, and the upgrades should happen hassle free. So decoupling is very important here. Now what are the different kind of ABAP language versions? For us, we can only see one. If I see in the drop down, we have only one option, but are there any other options available? So yes, ABAP language versions are total 3. One is standard, second is ABAP for cloud development, and third is ABAP for key user. So right now we are using this environment, SAP BTP ABAP environment, which earlier used to be referred as steampunk system when it was earlierly released back in 2018 and 2019. In SAP BTP ABAP environment, we do not have a standard version, we have only cloud development and key user. While if we talk about S4HANA cloud environments, there that is called embedded steampunk, there also we do not have standard, we only have cloud development and key user. But for the on-premise system of S4HANA, we have all the options available. Reason, now comes a picture. earlier I told you that we will discuss about public and private cloud of S4HANA. So SAP along with BTP for HANA also they released something called SAP Public Cloud and SAP Private Cloud for S4HANA, where if we opt for public cloud version, in that case the releases, the upgrades which happens in our system happens automatically at a fixed interval. Let's say if they are doing a quarter release, then you don't need to worry about anything. The releases will happen in the backend, and the benefit of having public cloud is that it is completely restricted. It is just like our BTP environment where you cannot do any development which can possibly break the system. You can only do the development which are completely stable and completely using the release APIs. What is release API? We will talk about it in a minute. In public system, the upgrades happen periodically at a fixed interval, either quarterly or half yearly. It is your wish, the customer's wish, to disable it or enable it by talking to SAP. And second thing is, it is in public cloud we can only do the stable developments. We cannot do any unstable development. It will not allow simply. If we talk about private cloud, and if we talk about the private cloud, here it is our responsibility. When we want the upgrade to happen, we can tell SAP and SAP will do the upgrades in the backend. At the time, if we have done anything, any changes which are not stable, it is our responsibility to keep a track of them, so that during upgrades, if they get lost, we have some backups available to restore them. And usually, even though SAP created two different terminologies of SAP S4HANA public cloud and private cloud always comes with on-premise. So whenever you see SAP S4HANA private cloud, that means SAP S4HANA private cloud plus on-premise. So that is why in private cloud also we have a standard version also available, where we can do any kind of development we want to. We can use Mara table if we want to, even though it is not allowed to use in cloud. But just because we opted that our development object, let's say we are talking about this class, so I said that my class will use the ABAP language version standard. In that case, Mara table will be allowed to be used. So I can write like select metnar from Mara and it will not break. But in this system also, if I change the ABAP language version to, let's say, cloud development, this will give a syntax error that Mara is an unreleased object. Kindly use the release object which is available on behalf of Mara. So what is this release object, unreleased object? What are all those things? So before that, in this blog also they are mentioning, you can see ABAP language version. In HANA systems, we are allowed to select these options. The language version can only be changed in the on-premise system, but in cloud, ABAP language version is set by system and cannot be changed. There are three different types. The first one, where the development can be done by functionals also for a particular limited amount of customization. If we want a complex customization in our standard solution, or we want to build a whole custom solution, then for ABAPers we have this second option, and the third one is completely unstable, again for the developers. If I scroll down a bit, what is the effect of ABAP language version? If you see here, when a ABAP language version is set for an ABAP object, whether it is a class or table, any kind of object, the syntax check is enhanced by additional check, which prevent us to use the forbidden statement or a non-release statement, non-release objects. For example, in this example you can see line number 36 is giving error, because right now for this particular class they have set the ABAP language version as ABAP for cloud development, and in that environment BUT 000 is not allowed. Instead of that, you need to use a release API which is I_business partner. Now what is this I_business partner? How come this is a release API? Why we are calling it a API. Let's go in our BTP environment. I'll click on this icon, a folder icon. I'll search for I underscore business. I'll see a long list available here, out of which I'll only look for I underscore business partner, which is a CDS view. A CDS view can be shown as an entity in brackets. Also, we can see here data definition, that is also a CDS view. Both will open the same thing. I am double clicking it. I am opening it. Here you can see line number 24. Define view I business partner, select from BUT000. So indirectly this is also fetching the data from the BUT000 table, and we are calling it a view. Now I have opened this in my BTP environment. So our assumption would be that since it is open in the BTP environment, the ABAP language version would be ABAP for cloud development, right? Let me scroll down. You see the ABAP language version is standard ABAP. How is it possible? I mean, why is it possible at all that in BTP environment, which is completely restricted, where you are saying that BUT000 is not allowed, and a CDS view on top of BUT000 is allowed, but that is also created in standard ABAP. So how come it is still allowed to use it? For that purpose, we define contracts. So in day one, when I was showing the different concepts, different best practices about the RAP, we were talking about RAP BO contract. If you guys remember that, this is in the API state. We can see the contracts are available where SAP suggests that what kind of operations can we do with I underscore business partner. Can we use it in the cloud development? No. Can we use it for key user apps? Yes. What is key user apps? We will discuss it tomorrow. Again, we have another contract here. Can we use it in the cloud development? No. For key user, yes. That means if I use this CDS view, I create my RAP application. After creation of application, if I say that I want to create a business partner, and I am writing a logic in ABAP for creating a business partner with the help of this view instead of this table, for example, insert statement, update statement, it will not allow. Why? Because it is not allowing us to do any cloud development for this view. If you want to do the cloud development, find a suitable CDS view which allows the cloud development. If I open BUT000, let's see, it is opened. Now in the properties, again ABAP language version is D, and if I go to API state, you see in the API state under contract C1 I can see a successor. So for any kind of database table which are not allowed to use in a restricted environment, either we talk about a public cloud or BTP, but in the system where we have selected that the ABAP language version should be ABAP for cloud development, in all those places, if we want to use a standard table, BUT000 or MARA or any kind of table, for that SAP has created successors. Successor means CDS views which we can use instead of the tables. So here in the API state I can see the successor says I underscore business partner, and I can just click on it. It will open the same thing that we just saw, this page. So just because we have an API state, just because we have a contract, just because the contract is telling us that for what purpose this CDS view is going to be used, this CDS view becomes a release API. So this is all about release API, ABAP language version. And now if there are any questions, we can discuss, and then we will start our hands-on exercise. So any questions from anyone? Seems it is very easy to understand for everyone. Okay. So now everyone,
Sachin,
yeah.
yeah. So how we can able to see what are the CDS user available? Like now you have shown this business partner, right? Like where we can see already existing one.
Yeah, there are a lot of sources actually. I'll share some places from where you can find it at the end of the whole bootcamp, and also what you can do. This is one approach I showed you, right? That in BUT
Yeah.
000 you go to API state and you check here for what purpose it is allowed. So this is one another way. And I also written a small blog on this part. I'll share the link with you after the session. You can go through it with all the possible approaches. Through that you can find the list. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would like all of you to now log into your BTP account and open Eclipse, log into your ABAP environment, and then we will start our hands-on exercises. And we are going to create a RAP application now. And as a starting, as you can see in my screen, let's go through this block quickly, and then we will do the hands-on exercise. What we are going to do right now, we will blindly follow whatever is written here. We will not think why we are doing this, we will not think what we are developing. We just want that whatever is written here, we copy paste the exact same thing, we just replace it with our own naming convention, and then if the blog is saying click on go button, you just click on go button. If they are writing some data, you write the same data, and ultimately we are going to completely building a RAP application using the managed scenario. What is the outcome? So RAP is a development model for creating APIs and UI based applications. But ultimately what we develop in RAP, we developed a list report always. So if you can see in this screen also, this is the homepage of the application that we are going to build. There are two select filters available here. One is travel ID, second is booking number. There is a go button. Below there is a list of records with some headings of labels and overall heading. There are two buttons, create, delete, and there is an additional button called show details. So in RAP we always build a list report. There is no other thing that we do. If we want to do a freestyle development of a Fiori application, we cannot opt for RAP development. So how we are going to do it? The first step is, if you remember the architecture, everything starts with data modeling. Then we go for business provisioning, and ultimately the consumption, that where we are going to consume it. And data modeling means we want the data from somewhere, we need a source of data. So here we are going to create a custom application RAP. The source will also be custom, so we will create a custom table. How to do that? We open Eclipse, we right click on our package name, like in my case my package name is this one, G Sachin test. Right click, other repo, I write table, I got the database table available here, and I'll just create it. Right click, other repository object, database table. Next I'll make sure to give a proper naming convention so that you can also remember what you built, and it follows a proper naming convention. It will be easy for you to follow it later. Click on next, choose the TR, or if you want you can create n number of TRs, your wish. After that the table will be created. Few annotations you can see at the top. Don't try to understand anything here, just blindly copy paste whatever is written here, replace this table name with the table name that you just created, and activate the table. Here in Eclipse we have this button activate here under project. After the table is created, you already have a class ready here, this one that we just created. In the same class, copy paste this code inside the method, replace the table name with the table that you just created, execute the class. Automatically the data will be inserted to the database table because the logic is written like that. Go to the table, you can check the data by same method, this uh, run as button. The same way you can execute any object, whether it is a view, a table, or a class. You validate whether the data is coming or not. Then we are going to create a CDS view, which is a root CDS view. What is a root CDS view? We will understand everything later after we completely create our own application. Again, click on new, other object, search for data definition. Next, enter a name. You see the naming convention here. He is following ZI underscore everything. Follow the same naming convention, ZI, ZC, whatever he is following, you follow the same thing. Click on next, TR. Then here also you make sure to select this define root view entity in the templates. And even if you don't get it, no worries. After you just click on finish, copy paste whatever content you see here, replace the name of the database table and the CDS view with the one you created and activate it. Again, you can see the data if it is coming or not, just for validation. Third thing, there is something called metadata extension that we are going to create. Now right click on this data definition and there will be an option called metadata extension. You again blindly follow the same thing, ZI underscore ME underscore whatever name you want to give to metadata, and next finish. Whatever comes, ignore everything, copy paste everything, replace the name of the CDS view here in annotated view, activate it. Fourth thing is behavior definition. Right click on our data definition iView, click on new behavior definition. Here you will see, now when we are defining the behavior, we get to choose the implementation type, manage or unmanage. Right now, just for learning purpose, as a fresher, we are going to use manage because we don't want to explicitly write the logic for create, update and delete. I hope you already know the difference between manage and unmanage now. So click on next, finish. Whatever comes up, ignore everything, no need to understand anything. Copy paste whatever is written here, replace the name of your database table, your CDS view, activate. Again, I service definition, next TR selection, finish. Whatever comes here, just activate as it is. Then again, on top of service definition, everything is mentioned here properly, so you won't need actually my help, but still we will do it together. Right click on this, new service binding. Whatever comes here, select the binding type, OData V2 UI. Next, finish, activate. Click on publish button here, this button. As soon as you click on publish button, this service information will bring some more data. You see here. Click on this, click on preview button, just like they are saying, and you will be able to see the application just like we saw at the beginning. If you click on go button, click go to see the data, you will see the data. You can click on create button, you will see a new screen with to enter some details. You enter the mandatory and any detail you want to like. Click on create, the data will be created like this. Click on edit, try editing the data, click on save button for editing, then delete the data. You experiment all of these things, and only after we complete all of these things, I'll start explaining each and every object one by one, what exactly we did, why we did, and what are all those things. So let's begin. I'll also do it parallelly with you. If any question, you can ask now or throughout the exercise. And sorry, I'll just share this link with you. Okay, log into your BTP environment now and let's start it. If there is any confusion or clarity you want, you can ask me anytime. Hi Shanmuga, it's clear to you also, right? What needs to be done?
Yeah,
Okay,
yes, Sachin.
okay.
Sachin, I have inserted the record to the table. Okay, how I can see that record is inserted or not? I've
Yeah.
got the message.
Okay. As you can see in my screen, this is a table. I click on
Yeah.
this button, run as, and I am directly able to see. But if you click on this drop down icon just right to this run button, run
Okay.
as ABAP application, or you can press F8
Okay.
also, and you will be able to see the data.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can see.
great. If in any of these steps you are getting any error, let me know.
Hi, Sachin.
Yes.
I am not getting the data in the table.
When you inserted here, did you see this booking data inserted in the console?
No, I have to. No, I didn't execute that class.
Okay. You execute the class, copying this
Okay.
data, and then try. Yeah.
Yeah, it shows booking data inserted.
Okay. Now in the table, if you execute, you should be able to see the data.
Oh, yeah, I'll check it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see now the data.
Okay.
Okay, it's like we have to execute the class first and then you have to check the data in the table. Is that right?
Yeah, because in the class we have written the logic that from
Okay.
our custom table insert the data from a standard table. So
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
how, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I am done with the development. My app is working also. I saw there were some hurdles in some of the steps. So if you face the similar issue, like if you are unable to resolve it on your own, you can ask me.
Sachin, I'm facing one issue. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
So I hope you can see my screen.
Yeah, I can see. Yes, here.
So
What you need to
in this
do?
step, I
Yeah,
mm,
I know. I also faced the same error actually. So if you can go back to the database table right now that you created,
yeah,
the database table.
table. Okay.
Yeah, open it. You see line number 16 where we are mentioning that this should be the semantics of currency code. You copy the same
Mm-hmm.
annotation completely, and you also see same place. You did not replace the table with your table. ZJP is written there in the annotation while it should be
Okay. Okay.
ZRA. Yeah. Okay. Activate the table. Now copy the whole annotation and let's go to the CDS view. Everyone will face the same error, so others can also see this here. Yeah, on top of it, enter and paste it. Remove the table name, only the field name is enough. Dot also remove. Yeah, now it will work.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi Sachin, I'm not able to view the data in the table. Hello.
Yeah, can you share your screen?
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see.
Can say there is no data
Can
here.
you go to the class?
Class?
Yeah, the class where we have written the logic for inserting the data to the database table.
Hmm.
You have not copied it yet?
This is the class, right?
No, this is the database table, and in the second step we are inserting the data. First step only, sorry. First, in the first step, if you scroll this one, yeah, here, the
In
ABAP,
this one?
yeah, this one. Delete, insert, all logic you need to copy in the class that we have created.
Okay.
This is the table below one. At this point the table will not contain any data, so let us create a data provider class. So the class is already there, we created it yesterday. So within the method you see the logic inside the method from delete till outright. Copy only that part, otherwise you will need to modify the name of the class also.
Okay.
Only the logic written in the method,
Sure.
and replace the table names, and then it will and execute the class, and then you can see the data in table.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Has anyone created the metadata extension yet? So anyone completed step 2 for creation of the data definition root CDS view? Kunal, Ravi, Sai, anyone?
Yeah, I have created actually. I'm working on step 5.
Okay, great. What about you, Tulsi? Which step you are following, Shanmuga?
I'm doing the behavior definition step,
Okay,
Sachin.
great. What about you, Abhishek? I can't hear you. Kishore?
Hello.
Yeah, Abhishek, I can hear you now.
Yes, I'm getting one error as flight reference data missing.
Yeah, and that's the one I was just showing you. Uh, okay, so let me share my screen. You can see it. Do you want
Okay,
to
okay.
share? Okay, not a problem. You share it. Okay. So what you need to do, if you open the table, database table that you just created, you copy this annotation on line number 16. Yeah, this one. Copy it and paste it right above the flight price in our CDS view. Not above CDS view, above the field flight price between line 12 and 13. Above that. Yeah, here. Enter. Remove the table name. The table name should not be here in CDS view. Only the field name should be there. Currency code. And activate it. It will work. Okay. So Kishore, what about you?
Sachin, I'm facing one issue with my Eclipse. Basically, when I try to create a entity root,
Yeah.
that time it asking upgrade your software. So currently, I'm upgrading my Eclipse.
Okay. Okay, not a problem. What about you, RK? Sai?
Yes, it's in step 6. I am service binding.
Okay,
So
perfect.
actually, how to view the table, that part I'm not understanding. Let me share the screen.
Yeah, yeah.
I hope the screen is visible.
It's loading. I can see now. Yeah.
Mm, like what
Open the
need to be
table.
done?
Open the table.
1 second.
Yeah.
Mm,
The second tab is the database table. Yeah.
yeah,
Now you see the run button, run icon is there at the top. Just the place where we, no, not this one, the right one, a
yeah.
proper play button.
Okay, here.
Yeah, this one. So click,
Okay,
yeah, here, run as ABAP application, first one. The shortcut is F8. Sometime works with F and
okay,
F8. Okay.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Service binding.
Yeah. Create the service binding after this and then test the
Okay,
application.
okay, sure. I'll just continue with the steps then.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Sachin.
Yeah. Shifaj, what about you?
Yeah. I'm not on the same system. I'm on a different system. Like I'm doing it,
Okay.
but I
Which
cannot
step?
share my screen.
No problem.
No, no. Oh, I actually used that auto generation thing.
Okay.
Everything came on its own.
Okay.
So the application is running fine.
Perfect. Great. Srinivas, what about you?
Sachin,
Yeah.
I'm not getting an option that to select the defined root view while creating the data definition.
Okay. Can you share your screen?
Yes. I
Wait, wait, wait. I'll show you a different approach. You cancel it, select everything in
Yeah,
the CDS view, and just remove everything. No,
this one,
no, no, no,
these
no.
two.
The, which one you created? You tried two
This
times?
one, yeah,
Okay,
but
that is
it's
fine.
not showing that
That
option.
is fine. You just open only one at a time, the one that you want to use further, and
Okay.
leave the other one as it is, and remove all
Mm.
the contents. Select all and press back. Remove everything. Press
And
Control
just
space.
copy paste.
No, 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 no need to copy paste. Press Control space.
Control space.
Why Spotlight search is coming? Yeah,
Okay.
here second option, define root view entity.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, you need to copy everything from that blog by removing
Link.
all this content.
Why?
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Shifaj.
Sorry. It wasn't for you. I'm so sorry.
Okay, no problem. After 5 minutes, I'll start explaining the details of each and every object that we created. I still can't hear you, Abhishek, if you are speaking. Yeah. Okay, so I guess some of you are still doing it. uh, what we should do, we pause it wherever you are and let's come back to my screen for some time. I'll explain all the objects that we have created or we are yet to create, and after explaining each and everything, then you can continue. And those who have already done it, congratulations, you created your first RAP application. And after the explanation, you guys can log off, not a problem. Those who have not done, I will be there to assist till the end. So if you are seeing my screen right now, I'll show you. Whenever we create any RAP application, whether it's an API or a UI application, we always start with data modeling. For data modeling, we start with database, table, or another CDS view. Both are fine. Ultimately, the data is coming from database view, but it's not necessary that you always create a database table for creating a RAP application. That is the very first thing that we do. On top of database table, we create an interface view. An interface view is like, you can say, a data model, which is the starting point of RAP application. On top of interface view, we create a projection view. As you recall from the last two sessions, we uh, discussed about the projection view, what is it and why we need a projection, so that for one single data model we can have different requirements for a different applications. We can create multiple projection views of a single interface view. But right now we did not create any projection view. We just created a single interface view, which is part of our data definition. And the projection view we did not create because we are only going to work on a single requirement, which is also a data definition. After creating all these things, we go for metadata extension, which is a separate core data service. And after metadata extension, this is optional actually, not mandatory, but as you can see in the screen, this travel ID, booking number, this booking, this 10, all these selection parameters, all are coming because we have created a metadata extension. If we don't create it, some of these features will not come automatically unless there is a data element specified for all the fields of the database table. After the metadata extension, we created behavior definition. Behavior definition is something where we define the behaviors, like what kind of operations we are going to perform with the data model in our application. If we opt for creating a projection view, in that case we must create a behavior projection as well, which will be particular and independent for each and every projection view, where we will specify that for this particular projection view what kind of operations are we actually going to expose for the end API or end UI service. After that, it's not necessary that we only going to use on one single CDS view. Right now we created one, for me this one, and in the service definition we wrote something like expose name of the CDS view, that's all. But what if there are n number of CDS view, like 5 or 6 or 15 or 50? If the end application demands all 50 to be exposed as an end API, we can write down here anything, that's not a problem. So service definition is a place where we expose our data sources, our data definitions, or the one that we are going to expose. When we create a projection view, we expose projection views in service definition, because that is something with the filtered data that we are going to expose to the end API or UI service. When we are not creating a projection view, we are just exposing our interface view, just like we have done here. After all of this, we go for service binding, the last step of creating the RAP application, where we specify what is the purpose that we are going to serve with whatever data we created whatever projection we created. Do we want an API, or we want an UI service, or what other options? Like we saw in our architecture, we had something called live access for analytics, then we had something for SQL consumption. So there are 6 different types of binding that we can specify here, and after doing that, whatever we have created, we can see here this service URL is the API that we just created, and whatever we see below here are the UI service that we created. If I click on preview button, this is the URL. It's already opened here also. If I open the URL, I mean if I show the URL, you see this is my URL. If you notice in the URL, everything is very much garbage here, but when we provide this, let me open this one, service URL. This URL is the API, is called metadata file. This is the URL which is called metadata file, which if we want that our RAP application, this is the basic RAP application that we just developed, we want the UI5 developer to customize it as per the customer requirement with the features which are not possible with RAP. For example, they want to show PDF, or they want to show some geolocations or anything like that, and they don't just want a plain list report. In that case, in not just in RAP, in any UI5 development, this is the file that we give to the UI5 developer, a metadata file, and this is how it looks like. Metadata file contains the data about the data. What kind of data we are talking about? Let me see, where is it? Yeah, in the URL, this is the service binding name that I just created. After that, if I enter the name of the service that I exposed, name of the CDS view that I exposed, I press enter, I am able to see all the data of the CDS view, the data that we have in our database table. If I open the network tab, reload it, and check in the response, I can see the same data which I can see here. And not just that, we can format it also in different orders. That is not happening here. That's okay. So this is all about the data. Like whenever UI5 developer want to show the data for a particular service, this is the URL that they use. So if I start with the beginning, the data definition, till here do you want to ask any question? Otherwise I will go deeper in each and every object one by one.
So Sachin, I have a question. Like, so RAP, as you said, it will every time create only a list report, right?
Yes.
So, based on some data, if I want to trigger an email to the vendor for some details on some action, then we have
Yeah,
to go and customize it in the OData only for all that requirements.
we can do that in RAP itself. Just now you
Okay.
mentioned like action, right? Something called action. So in
Huh.
RAP, this is the place behavior definition. We can define our own actions where we can write
Okay.
the logic for sending the email, the list report, or any data as an email to the vendors.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you, Sachin.
yeah. So as I mentioned, RAP, we create list report. But there is one more thing in RAP which is a mandatory thing. For one RAP application, whether it is an API or a UI based application, there can only be one parent, which we call it root view. Always one, and one to n relationships are there. Like we can have one parent, n number of childs. We can make this parent like a grandparent, a grandparent also, meaning that one parent is there. Of one parent we have, let's say, 5 childs. For each of 5 childs we have 2 more childs. like subchilds. So this parent will become grandparent of this child. Again, we can have more hierarchy. So multi-level hierarchy is possible in RAP, but parent can only be one. A root view can only be one in the whole RAP application. If we are going to create multiple root views, and later on we think that yeah, we can define a single action for both the root views, it is not possible, because when you follow this step of creating behavior definition, if I open this tutorial, second step we created the root CDS view, third step we created a metadata extension. In the fourth step, when you right clicked on this data definition, clicked on behavior definition, you were not able to rename the behavior definition name. It was exactly same as what the data definition name was. Why? Because it is not allowed, because for one root view, for one RAP application, we can define actions only at one place, only in one behavior definition, not in multiple. So that's the catch. In RAP, we can create only hierarchical uh, um, structural applications, and that too list report only. So everything starts with a root view. Once we have one root view, we start with a data definition by creating an interface view, which is basically an interface root view. After that, it is our wish, we want to create multiple interface view which will be child of this root view, or independent CDS views which we associate with this. If you recall from our presentation, I mentioned two types of association: composition and association. So I said the composition is a parent-child relationship, and association is just a friendly or sibling relationship between two CDS views. So when we create a root CDS view, if we want a child of those CDS view, we define composition relationship with that. If we want just a sibling that we want to fetch data also from some different CDS views, we go with normal association. And we can, the general nomenclature that we follow for creating these views. For creating a root view, we write ZR, something like that. For creating an interface view, we write ZI. For creating a projection view, also known as consumption view, we write ZC. So interface view is the first view that we create, root view. Here if you see, there are a lot of annotations mentioned here. The first annotation, which is a mandatory and basic annotation, which defines what kind of authorization are we going to perform, whether we want any authorization control on this CDS view or not. What are those authorization control? We will see in 2 minutes. Then the labeling of CDS view. Third is metadata ignore propagator annotation. If you want, you can press Ctrl F1. For me it's just F1. If I press F1 for any of the annotation, I am redirect to the SAP help, where I can read the details about the annotation, what they are used for. So if you see, ignore propagated annotation defines whether the annotations are inherited from the use CDS view when analyzing. What does that mean? I mentioned here the base starting point of RAP application can either be a database table or a view. So a view is also possible. A view means a CDS view. This CDS view may also contain some annotations like some properties, for example, what should be the end user level, whether the semantics, this semantic data of flight price is maintained in a different CDS view, and then I am fetching the data from that CDS view to this root CDS view. In that case, do I want to explicitly mention again the same thing? I have mentioned already in my inner CDS view that the semantics of flight price for currency code is this currency code field. Should I again mention it? Not required. If I mention this annotation here, that means I don't need to necessarily Again, repeat the same annotation that I have mentioned in the inner CDS views. That is what this is used for. False annotation says metadata allow extension true. This is specifically only in case when we are creating a metadata extension for our CDS view. In our demo, we created a metadata extension, this one. If I don't create a metadata, if I use the annotation of metadata inside this CDS, which is completely possible, then I don't need to write this annotation. So this is all about the data definition interface view. The projection view is exactly same, just we right click on this, we click on data definition, we write ZC book anything, next, and here we have option of creating projection view, define projection view. I click on finish. I got a CDS view which is a projection. What does it say? Define view entity, define root view entity as projection on my interface CDS view, and rest of all of the things. So the same thing goes here as well. So you already know why projection view is used, so I am not going to explain it again. Till here, do you have any questions? Otherwise we will proceed to the third part. Okay, so after creating these CDS views, we are going with the metadata extension. It is a good practice always to create a separate metadata extension if you want to specify different labelings for each of the fields, or like this label. If you want to specify that in your RAP application you need this kind of filters also, then it is good practice that we create separate metadata view. In this metadata extension or metadata view, we see the first line says metadata layer core. So what does that mean? Right now we are creating our whole custom application. Yesterday we discussed that it is not necessary that there can only be custom RAP development. There is a possibility that there are applications, for example manage sales order version 2, which is also a RAP based application. So what if your customer comes with the requirement and say that I have this application where everything is good, but what I want that instead of wherever I am able to see in the screen material, I don't want a label as material, I want to change it to product, and it is a standard application. How you are going to do that? So for that, first thing you are going to see whether the source CDS view, like I am opening this, I can see here booking date. If you say I want to change it to book date, so what you will do, you try to figure out what is the source of this CDS, what is the source of this data, which CDS it is. Once you found it, you will check if there is any metadata extension available for that or not. Most cases the metadata extension will be available. In few cases it will not be available. When it is available, what you are going to do, you are going to override the standard metadata extension with a custom metadata extension for the standard metadata. For example, suppose a metadata extension says sales order manage. This is the metadata extension. Let's try and check it right now. Not found, because we are in BTP, lot of things are not available here. I wrote type colon under control space, and I got this lot of options available because I don't know what to write for metadata extension. I am scrolling down to find the metadata extension, hoping that it should start with M. Unfortunately no. ddlx. Okay, so as you can see, there are a lot of metadata extensions available here, but not the one that we are looking for. Maybe this is the one, and this is not starting with G, that means it is a standard one. Suppose this metadata extension is being used for any Fiori application, standard Fiori application. If we are able to find it and the customer is demanding that change something to something else, for example, this one is titled as net amount, so they are demanding, and we got his here product C. So for product the label is also product. If they demand the vice versa thing, they want it to be shown as material, what you will do, you will open this metadata extension, no sorry, you will open the CDS view, right click, show in ABAP repo, project explorer. On the left hand side we want to see that. Not coming. Okay, as soon as we see it on the left hand side, we will right click on the standard CDS view. We will create a metadata extension again with the G naming convention. It starts with G. And the second time what we are going to do, this metadata layer we are going to change from core to customer. There are 5 layers of metadata in RAP. The first one is core, which means the starting one with the least priority or least preference. The second one more higher preference, third one more localization, and the partner. So whenever you get a requirement like that you want to extend a metadata extension and there is a core metadata layer extension already created, you create one more with the customer layer, and in that you copy paste all this facet one, wherever you see UI.facet, just copy paste all those things, and only for the field you want to modify, you change the label, just like we just saw the label for that. You change the label, activate it, and that's it. It will reflect automatically in the application. So this is what the metadata layer is used for. Then the heading we see here, this booking heading, this bookings heading, this 10 here, how they are coming, we have written here. See, type name booking, type plural bookings, here travel with the booking ID. So we should be able to see travel also somewhere, but that's okay. Then all these labels of these fields, if we are not specifying them, right now you can see here nothing is specified. They are just specifying that in the list put the travel ID at position 10. Inside the object page, this is the list page. If we go inside in the detail, this is the object page. So here they are specifying in the list make it at the position 10, in the object make it at position 10, and make a filter of travel ID at position 10. If we go back, we see there are 2 filters, travel ID and booking number. And if you notice here, we have selection field only for 2, travel ID and booking ID. For rest of them we have only line item and identification. So this is how we order the items one by one. If I just change the number, for example I make it 110 customer ID, I activate it, I go back, customer ID is here right now, I refresh the application. Now you see customer ID came at the last because 110 comes after 90. So this is how we order everything in metadata extension. Along with that, we can also specify for any field if we want a search help or not, if we want data coming, specify the references of data. Lot of features are there that you can explore later, but that is what it serves. It provides the metadata of the fields of CDS view. Then we created a RAP application. What about the actions? What we can do with the RAP application now? We saw that we are able to create, delete, or edit the data. After going here, we have the edit button. But what if we want to do something else also? Like we want that if I select one row, if only there would be a button here, if I click that button, suddenly the data gets changed with something else. Like if there is uh, a status field here which changed to something else from active to inactive or vice versa, or by clicking one button this record should get sent as an email to some customer. So where can I write the logic for all of that? Also, if I go in the object page, click on edit, what if I enter here garbage value, let's say like this? Is it allowing me? It is saying enter only digits. But what if I enter like this? This is a digit. Now what if I write like this? Now anything is possible. I can write any garbage value here also. I can write not here or here in the booking. What if I specify the date of 2049 like this and save it? It is allowing me, but your customer is saying that it is not possible that anyone can book a flight for 2049 right now. So I want to put some validations here, or I want that whenever I click on create button, the travel ID should be picked up automatically, because nobody wants to enter 11 12 manually. Nobody want to enter booking number 234 manually. They should pop up automatically, like uh, internal numbering, something should happen. So where can I write the logic for all of such things? Validations, determining some things like that. For all of that we have behavior definition. Here we can write the logic. You see, when we created a behavior definition, we were getting this yellow triangle errors. If I click here, it says the behavior definition should be flagged as strict. If you recall from our first session, in the best practices we mentioned two things: RAB BO contract and strict mode. So strict mode is something where with the help of which we can make the application more strict. In what way? Now see, we are getting a lot of errors. What is saying that a travel ID is a key field, booking ID is a key field, so they should never be allowed to enter manually, because that should come from some other way. So make it read only, otherwise I will not allow you to activate the application. Why? Because that is the more as soon as I wrote the strict, the application become more restricted and it became more stable. If I comment it out, the error will be gone away, and now it will just give me this as a warning that please do it. If even if you don't do it, that's not a problem, we will somehow manage your application. So this is about that. After manage also, there are a lot of features available here, like manage implementation by class. So just now as we mentioned, we can create multiple actions for sending the email, changing the status. We can create some validations or determinations, all those features. Where can we write the logic for that? Because we want to write the logic in ABAP. So for all that we have something called implementation in class. After that we specify the name of the class that we want to create, like this, and it will give me an option that create a behavior implementation class. As soon as I click on it, first it will ask me to activate it. As soon as I activate it, again click here, it is giving me that now I am able to create a behavior class where I can write logic for everything. Everything means the actions that I can explicitly define, not for create, update, delete, because we are using manage framework. There is no need to write logic for create, update and delete. Then just because we are going to use create, update and delete, where the operation should take place, when we create any record, what should happen, where it should happen, for that we must specify a table here, that in this table everything should happen, and this is the responsible CDS view, be it a interface view or a projection view, where we are going to use the operations. Like in screen, if I am clicking on create, I am not creating a record in database table, I am creating a business object of travel. Ultimately I am creating a record of my interface view, which is getting stored in the database table. That is why we specify a database table. Then there are concepts of locking also here, we have concepts of authorizations also here, that we can specify in behavior definition. This is a very vast topic. If we want to cover it, it will take more than a week for sure. So I think this much understanding about behavior definition is fine for you. And then, as I mentioned, on top of behavior definition, we create behavior projection also, which is only necessary when we are creating a projection view, where we just mention that in behavior definition I said that I can create, I can update, I can delete the record. In behavior projection I specify whether I really want to use create operation or not, whether I really want to use delete operation or not. If I don't write use, like if I don't write this one, edit button will not come in the screen because I did not specify the update operation. Then service definition, it's a very simple one. I already explained it. Whichever CDS you want to expose, just write it down and it will work. The last one is the service binding, where we have multiple types of bindings available. After creation of it, we create an API, and based on what kind of binding type we have chosen here, we create a UI service also. So these are all the objects that we create in RAP. Now if you have any questions, you can ask. Everyone understood everything? Or everyone left already? No, everyone is here. So if you need clarification, yeah.
Yeah, Sachin, yeah. See, actually, some of the topics are new to me. So,
Not a
yeah,
problem.
like it. So, yeah, I can understand the basic explanation, whatever you provided, it's really useful. I'll go through this. I
Yeah.
have one more question. Like, see, now we have created this API, right? So, using this API, the Fiori developer or UI5 developer will develop our application and it will be used by end user, or how it would be like, can
Yeah.
we share this to end user directly, or it's only for our internal testing what you shown in the browser?
Yeah. So when we clicked on preview, if you see the URL, this is a very messy URL. Nobody will
Mm-hmm.
understand what is written here,
Mm-hmm.
where it is. So if you see, we cannot understand anything by reading this URL. So this is only for the preview purpose, and nobody is going to use this as an end URL, and we cannot serve this to the customer. So this is just for our preview purpose. And how exactly are we going to use it for the end user? What steps, additional steps do we need to perform? That is the topic for tomorrow. So I'll
Okay.
explain that in detail. Yeah.
Okay.
Also,
Yeah.
my query is like quite general.
Yeah.
So once the app application is created, yeah, so basically it's CRUD application on database, but in a more fancy way. Is it like the main purpose? Like, I'm so sorry, I missed the last few classes.
Yeah, not a problem. Uh, Not just for CRUD operations, for just for read operations also, for additional operations also that we want to perform. Like as someone asked me for sending the email. So if you want to send
Mhm.
this list as an email also, For that purpose also we can use the RAP application.
It's more like URL based applications, yeah, that we are
Yes.
designing
Yeah, it's a
with the
Fiori
user
application. At the end, it's a Fiori
at the end.
application. Yeah,
Oh, we are Fiori application that is designed by the help of ABAP, and
yeah,
all the data is happening, all the manipulation is happening at the database level, right?
yes,
So create, modify it,
yeah,
all
everything.
fetch every. Okay, all right, all right.
Yeah.
And that database is it like a centralized database like the root entity that we took, or can we,
This one,
there is
database table that we created. If I
that is this is
create,
this.
yeah,
Uh, is there scope of like standard table data mo
yes.
modification from this?
Right now, we created a custom application, so we kept the data source as our custom database table.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
if we check the standard SAP solutions, they insert the data directly into the standard tables, like Mara tables or VBAK, VBAP, EKKO.
Okay, okay.
So they directly insert the data there. So for that, they create unmanaged RAP based application. They are already ready available applications.
Oh, so it's like we can create basically like the scope of creating a cockpit which will create PR, POs, and directly update the IBAN, EBKN table. So that is possible, right?
Yeah,
Via app application.
yes, completely possible.
Okay, all right. Is it covered in the scope of this course, or like is it?
No,
All right, all right.
yeah,
Okay, no worries. Thank you.
yeah. So anyone else want to understand anything specific, like in any of the subject about metadata, interface view, anything particularly for the behavior definition?
Sachin, I have a query on this behavior definition. Like we create a root entity
Yeah,
and then that we create a behavior definition, right? Like it is always one to one.
correct. Yes, always one to one.
Okay. So you mentioned a naming convention, like if a root entity we can have as R
Yes,
and interface as a I, right?
yeah,
So will there be a case like I create a root view and I have multiple interface views?
yes. We can have just like I mentioned that with
Okay,
one root view,
in that
we
so
can.
in that case, I can directly go for the behavior of a interface view, right? I do not need to create a behavior definition for root view.
No, behavior definitions can only be created for the root views. It is up to
Mhm.
you to maintain the nomenclature. Even if you want, as per the project requirement, you can write JI also. That's not a problem. It's
Mm.
just the general nomenclature that SAP follows. But behavior definition can only be created for the root view, always one-to-one mapping.
Okay, so see, basically consumption is what we actually expose, like what entity we are exposing.
Yes,
Um, an interface view, can I understand in that way? Like when I'm doing an API, I do with an interface view, and when I'm creating a list like a UI,
yeah,
then I go for the consumption
yeah.
exposure.
You can. Yes,
Okay,
it's not
but
necessary though.
right.
Yeah. Okay. If there are no further questions, those who have completed the exercise already, thank you so much, and again congratulations for creating your first RAP application on your own. And we will meet tomorrow. And those who have not completed, you can do it now if you want. I'll be here to assist you till the end. So thank you everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.